Hello, Department of Rehabilitation ACMS users. This is Ashley with the ACMS support team, and this short video will show you a little bit about ACMS and how you will be using it as a DOR representative. Here we have the first screen that you'll see once you sign on to ACMS. You'll have up at the top a navigation field with home, tracking inbox, search, and reporting. Probably your best bet is this home button. It's going to take you back to the screen that we're currently looking at. You also have your My Account up at the top left corner, and that's how you can change your password if you so choose to do that. You can sign out, or you can just hit X on the browser and close the browser off. That will also sign you off. There is also a help menu right here, but my advice to you is if you do run into anything unusual in ACMS or need help with doing a particular task, please contact the ACMS support team at acms@dss.ca.gov. And we have a team of people that monitor that email, and they respond very quickly, and they can help you do whatever it is that you need to do in ACMS, or if you see anything unusual, they can look into it for you. In the upper right hand corner, you're going to see the version that we're on, and you're going to see your username, which is usually your email address, and then your role. For the DOR users, your role is Responsible Agency User, RA User. So that's what you should see in the upper right hand corner. Now, looking in the middle of the screen here, you're going to see a dashboard to look for different claimants, or perhaps a search on a case number if you need to find a case or a claimant. If you do a claimant search, you can search on just a first name, a last name, or a date of birth, but fair warning, if you put very little information in there, you're going to get a lot of hits. So try to put as much information as you can so that you can narrow down your search. So here is the search that I came up with when I put John Brooks into the claimant search. Now let me show you what an appeal search looks like. You would put in the appeal number. I am in the training environment, so our appeal numbers are very small. In the production environment, your case numbers will be 9 digits long. So I'm going to hit search, and what that does is it pulls up the case for me. So let me go back to John Brooks and show you what happens when you do a search on a claimant. It's going to pull up the claimant, and you can see when I hover over that with my cursor, it turns blue. You can click, and that's going to take you right to that claimant's profile. A profile is where the claimant's demographic information exists. So their name, date of birth. Sometimes you'll see other fields filled out here like social security number, Medi-Cal number, age. You'll also notice that there are some red asterisks. Those red asterisks are required fields, so we are required to get first, last name, date of birth. All the other information in here that does not have a red asterisk is optional. Sometimes claimants fill out their own, but for DOR cases, all of this information is going to be entered by Department of Rehab. If the claimant speaks a language other than English, they can identify that here, or English. And if they require an interpreter or a sign language interpreter, they can also indicate that here. Then down here we have their contact information. They can get their information two ways. They can either go via postal system or email addresses. If they choose email address, the email address will be required. If they do choose postal, the postal address is required. For DOR cases, the postal address will always be required because some of the documents are required to be mailed out certified mail. So we do have to have that postal information in there. We also have a primary contact phone number. This is the phone number that we would call if there is a phone hearing or a phone mediation. And then you can also identify some special accommodations for this particular claimant. If they request an in-person hearing, sometimes you'll want to see things like if they need wheelchair access, if they have assistance, an animal a guide animal, or if they require some sort of hearing device, anything like that, any special accommodations, any type of large font request for documents, they can put that in there. Any ADA request can go here in the special accommodations. All right, so that is what this looks like as far as the profile. Now let me go back home and let me put in a case number again, and I can show you what a case looks like. So once you enter an appeal number or a case number, it's going to pop up with your results down here, and you can click on that, and it's going to show you the case information. Now this is the test environment, so we have some very strange names. This person is named Patrice 11. If you notice up here, their name is a clickable link. If you click on that link, that is going to take you to that profile that we just looked at. Also, you're going to notice that there are some little tabs up the top, and those are different pieces of the appeal. So the important ones for hearing reps, for DOR hearing reps, is this first front appeal page, which contains a lot of the information regarding the case. So it's like a cover page. And then the other thing is this contact tab, which has all of the people on the case. So this particular case doesn't have any people right now, but there's usually a hearing representative listed in here. Let's see, for DOR cases, I don't know if you have beneficiaries, but any other people that are involved in the case would be listed here besides the claimant, because the claimant would be up here. Now the document tab is also very important. This is where you're going to see all of the letters and notices that went out to the claimant. There are a lot of letters that are automatically generated by the ACMS system. For example, this hearing request and the acknowledgement letter. They're both system generated documents. Now for DOR letters, we do have the system set up to make sure that these documents print out in 14-point font. So it should be ADA compliant to your standards. In the hearing tab, you're going to see any hearings that are listed. So far, this particular person has a hearing listed for actually a mediation listed for January 25th at 12:03. Usually it's on the dot, so it'll be 12. Again, we are in the training environment, and we just kind of put times in there to demo this for you. So we can see that this appeal is scheduled and ready to go to mediation. The issue tab is also very important. This is where you're going to see what the issue is that the person is appealing. The task tab is also very helpful. The task ACMS ushers the hearing, the case through the process. It knows whether there's a mediation or a hearing or both, and it's going to walk this case through. So it knows that the first thing that happens is somebody's going to take a look at this case, make sure that everything looks good, all the fields are entered in there, and all of the information looks right, and that's called a review appeal. It looks like somebody's all done that already because this task is closed. The next thing that gets generated is assign a hearing rep, and that's going to go to you guys, the Department of Rehab. You're going to look at your list of cases that need a hearing representative, and you're going to assign a hearing rep. So far this one is open. That means the hearing rep has not been assigned yet, so we'll have to show you how to do that a little bit later on in this video. And so on and so forth. So you can kind of follow the process of an appeal by looking at these tasks. The activity tab is just an audit of everything that's happened in this case. So I set up this case for demonstration purposes. You're going to see my name and email all over it, and it shows you the date and time that I did all of these different changes to the case to put it in ACMS. The assignment tab is not used, and the action tab may be used, but for DOR it is not. So that is a little tour of what the appeal looks like in ACMS. So let me go back to that home screen when you first sign in. Somebody in DOR is going to take a look at all of the DOR cases and make sure that it gets assigned to somebody to be the representative at the hearing. And they're going to do that by clicking on this Cases Without a Hearing Rep. They're going to see all of the cases that are for the Department of Rehab, and they're going to need to assign. I see that these 5 cases are all Department of Rehab and that they need a hearing representative. So to get a hearing representative, all you have to do is click on the case number, and it's going to take you right to that contact tab that I mentioned earlier. Contacts that are all the people in the case, and then you're going to want to assign a primary hearing representative. So I'm going to click down on the contact type, and this is going to be a primary hearing representative. The responsible agency is the Department of Rehab. That's your only choice. And then when you click on this, you're going to see a list of all of the people that have a Department of Rehab access. So all of your representatives will be listed here. So you're going to choose the representative from the list, and then you're going to fill out all of the information. Now, as you can see, those little red asterisks are here again. So the 3 that are required are these at the top, and then you're going to need to give us a hearing phone number. So phone number where this person can be contacted when it's time for the hearing. A lot of times we also use email address. A lot of us hearing reps want to be contacted via email, not via postal mail. So you can select your preferred contact method as email, and then just make sure that your email address is here. It should automatically populate because ACMS knows when you pick this person's name, it knows their email address, and it will automatically put that down there for you. But double check, make sure it's correct, and once you're happy with this, you can just hit that save button. Now, when we look at the contact tab, we're going to see that there are 2 people here. It looks like we have a backup hearing representative and a primary hearing representative. Now, you probably want to know, what is the difference between these 2 hearing representatives? Well, at first, the primary representative is going to be the person who is primarily responsible for this case. This is the person that the judge is going to call, and this is the person that is expected to do the statement of position. Now, it's always good to assign a backup because you never know. The day of hearing, perhaps this person may be out sick or unable to do the hearing. Having a backup representative that can pick up where the primary hearing representative is unable to is always a very good bet. So once you have these hearing representatives in ACMS, these hearing representatives are going to be notified via email anytime something happens to this case. So if this case gets scheduled, you're going to get an email letting you know, hey, this case is scheduled. Or if a document gets uploaded to this case, then you're also going to get an email saying, hey, there's a new document in this case, and you can go in and you can take a look at any new documents that you see uploaded. You'll know when the document was uploaded by looking at the date listed on the far left side. So first order of business is always to make sure that your cases have a hearing rep so that somebody's getting notified about the case. The other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to upload your statement of position. Now, remember I said ACMS reminds you when you have to do something. So once a case gets scheduled, ACMS is going to make a task. It's called the Submit SOP task, and it's going to assign it to the primary hearing representative for the case. So I'm a primary hearing representative. I've got a case that's scheduled. How do I know which cases I need to write an SOP for? Well, there's 2 ways. There's this queue right here called SOP needed. So you can look in there and I can see that for this case that I need to write an SOP. So I can click on this and it'll take me right to the task of submitting the SOP. and then I can go and browse on my computer. I'm going to find the SOP here somewhere, and then I am going to choose it, and then I'm going to say my SOP is uploaded and hit save. So that's going to put the SOP in the Documents tab. And I picked just a random document to upload, but you're going to have a real SOP. So let's go into the Document tab and let's just take a look. And you can see down here, today is the 20th, and the statement of position has been uploaded. All right. Other than that, I think, oh yes, how about the calendars and hearings queue? The calendars and hearings queue is going to show you what cases are scheduled. It's going to show you all the rehab cases that are on calendar. So you can choose a series of dates and then just hit refresh search. It's going to show you all of the cases. Right now, I only have one case scheduled, and it looks like it's a mediation. So it tells you a lot of information. It's going to be by phone, and it involves this claimant, and it's about rehabilitation services. If I wanted to find out more about this case, I could see that the hearing is scheduled for January 25th at 12:03. If I wanted to find out more, I can click on this and it's going to take me right to the case, and I can look at all the documents, maybe refresh myself on what the issue is for this case. But the calendars and hearings queue is where you're going to see all of the different cases that have been scheduled for Department of Rehab. Let me talk about some other cues that you see here. The case view history is like a recents. So the recent cases that you've looked at are going to be listed here. You can tell by the timestamp that it is sorted by my first one and then my second one. So I usually like to flip it, sort it so that my most recent case is going to be on top, and so on and so forth. Now it's going to show you your last 10 cases, but if you wanted to see more, you could. So I want to see my last 100 cases. I can do that. It's going to show me my last 100 cases that I've recently looked at. I only looked at 2 cases using this username up here, so it only has 2 there. Now you'll find this show entries on almost every single one of the queues that we have. So if you wanted to expand any of these queues to show a little bit more, you can do that. The next queue I want to point out is the My Cases for Reps. Now, for the hearing reps, maybe you want to see a listing of all the cases where you are the hearing representative. Well, they'll be right here. Just click on that, and I can see that these cases were filed on a particular date. Here are the case numbers. Here's the claimant names. This particular one on top has already been heard, and it's closed. This is when it was heard. The decision is in draft right now, so the decision is forthcoming. I am the primary hearing representative for all of these cases except this third one. I am a backup hearing representative. And then the modality. So most of the hearings are by phone. This happens to be the top one happens to be in person. All right, assigned task is another place that you may find the SOPs, SOP needed, and my assigned task will be similar. The SOP needed is specifically SOPs. And my assigned tasks, there may be other tasks that hearing reps are required to do, but for DOR, I don't think so. I think mostly SOP needed is where you're going to look. We already talked about cases without a hearing rep. You know that these are your new cases. Don't worry about ADH cases. A DOR does not have them. If you want to look at every single one of the DOR appeals that are in the system, here you go. So currently in our training environment, we have 7 DOR appeals in the system. Decision compliance, you won't have to worry about. That's once everything is done. The State Hearings Division will make sure that the parties involved comply with the judge's order. And also proposed decisions, we won't have to worry about at this time. Rehearings do not occur in in DOR cases, so we can ignore that menu. Scheduling, calendars, and hearings, we already talked about that. And then you have some other ways to search right here, although I highly recommend using this dashboard search at the top. I think that was kind of a whirlwind tour of ACMS for the DOR user. If you do have any questions regarding ACMS or the process, you can contact the ACMS support team at acms@dss.ca.gov. If you have any questions, you also have my email address that you saw in here. My email address is Ashley, ASHLEY dot Lucas, Lucas, at dss.ca.gov. And I am the manager of the ACMS support team, so if you require any help, you may also contact me. Thank you, and good luck with your cases in ACMS for Department of Rehab. Bye-bye.